Oh, I think I'm going to make it just barely. There we go. Hey! Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jade Monkey, and we're back here in Rust. We're talking about the Rust Console Edition, or the Rust Console Beta Boathouse, Starter Base, and Boathouse build. And currently, the Rust Console Beta is under the closed beta. That's NDA. They should be opening up to more users, players. But don't worry if you don't make it, because it looks like the full release for the Rust Console Edition is just around the corner, as they said, sometime in spring. So that's very exciting. So we're here to help ease the pain. We're going to show you this boathouse build that I think is very important. You can use this as a starter and also a boathouse combo. And this is very much meant to be updated. But here we go. So if you're out there just getting started, or even a veteran player and need to brush up, because there's been many things added to this game, you can go ahead and go check out the Rust beta guides we have right now, from everything from the red cards, green cards, monuments, base building basics, to raiding basics that'll help you tremendously and help avoid those pitfalls on your very first day or all the way through the wipe. So if you want to check that out, I'm going to go ahead and link that now in the upper right hand corner. Might I recommend the raiding guide? Just saying. It's definitely worth your time. And then also, since we're going to be doing base building here, our base building guide is going to go over a lot of those finer points. We'll probably give you another link for that later, but check it out. All right, so at any time, if you find this useful and helpful, be sure to drop a like. And if you're into open world survival games, especially things like Rust, Console Edition Rust, because we'll be playing it quite a bit, especially when they lift that NDA. Can't wait for that. You should consider dropping a subscribe if you think it's something you'd watch, and turning on those notifications. Okay, so enough with the formalities. The boathouse. Why should you build a boathouse? Why is it important? These things help you get loot like crazy. Let me show you some of the progression stuff out here. Boats give you access to less people trying to clap your cheeks, but also these junk piles are floating all over the place. And if you have scuba gear, there are sunken ships that also have a ton of loot. These things help you get components for guns, things for your base, and also helps with general progression. So it's always a good thing. So these things are like little gold mines. But here's why you should make a boathouse, both for a starter, but also to secure a boat. Boats either cost 120 scrap in a fishing village, if your map has that, or they spawn on the beach, or I guess you can steal them from other players. But here's the kicker. When they're sitting out on the beach like this, they take decay damage. You can fix them with both wood and fragments, you can see right there, but they won't decay if you have a roof over the top of this. So that helps a lot. Usually, you see a start on the edge of the water anyways, but if I see a boat, I try to build one pretty quickly. So just real quick out here, each map is procedural. Think like a Minecraft seed. Things change from seed to seed, or based off of that. But you have monuments, points of interest, bandit camps, or a bandit camp and a outpost. But you almost always have a harbor and something else here. So just know that from server to server and wipe to wipe, these do change, but there's a lot of core things here. So I would say if you're going to build one of these boathouses, have a good location for both raw materials, stone, raw metal, trees are a big one. Make sure you're close enough to it, and if not, just kind of migrate down the shore till you find something that is good for you, that has good respawns, because you can't really build a base unless you have some supplies. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. I always say if you're close to a bandit camp or an outpost and you can place something on the shoreline, that's pretty good, and find a boat, I'd say you're in. Okay, so this is going under the assumption that you, well, actually, let's do the let's do the tour, the little summary of the base here. Okay, so don't worry if you see this and go, man, that's wood. That's not going to hold up too much. Yes, you are correct. But this is on purpose. So you can add to this. I'm going to go ahead, since I'm admin here, I can break away here, kind of float up and show you what I'm talking about. This is wood on purpose so you can make an expansion. Because a lot of times, most of the time, Rust building is about making the right decision at that time. Do you have the right amount of resources? What's the right play for you to do offense and defense? So it's wood so you can actually chop it down soft side on the inside to make expansions or adjustments as things start to evolve during your Rust wipe. So just know this center core here, this stone section, is for the tool cupboard and your better loot. To help you get started. But also remember, this is meant to be added onto. We'll show you some of those upgrade options and additions, but feel free to modify this as your wipe goes on. You should. But there's always a rule I have in my head in our team. that if you sign out for the night or for the day or any period of time, expect anything that's wood to be broken into at some point. So if you want to keep anything, make at least one sheet metal door. Actually, this should probably be sheet metal here, and this can be wood, but sheet metal basically stops, it does stop people from yoke raiding you and flame raiding you. Anything wooden is susceptible, geez, I can't say that word, vulnerable to flame attacks. So if you want to keep things inside your inner core, try to make a sheet metal door as quickly as possible. Okay, so just showing you the basics of the boathouse here. We have a single pass-through airlock here. Pretty standard fare. Keeping it wood, again, until you can afford it. These are created so when one door is open like this, nobody can rush in on you. Door camping, it was invented in Rust pretty much. So if you somehow get clapped there, nobody can, quote-unquote, go deep on you. So that's why these doors are the way they are. And this leads directly into the airlock that is the boathouse. That's part of this. Again, I kept this wood because I found oftentimes that making adjustments as you go, especially to the boathouse, is pretty important in most cases. So just having that option is good for you. Here's the basic 2x1. Whoops, I'm under the water here. That's going to help you expand your base into whatever you would like to make it. But the center core is designed to be a protection for flame raids. This is all stone here. Let me go ahead and highlight this. This will help. Here, here, floor, sides, tool cupboards tucked away. And this should give you enough room, as we have this little triangle shelf here, for your first furnace, because again, that's how you're going to smelt your raw metal ores when you do have a chance. And you can place a lot of storage here for early game. Again, this is not an end-all be-all, but this definitely helps you get started. And if you are lucky enough to have smelted metal or recycled parts that give you metal fragments like this, you will be able to make these larger wooden boxes. We'll go over it. We just want to show you the rundown. And enough, we call this like storage carpet. It's basically boxes you hop up on and you use the floor for storage. And then we like to put things like, I was going to say a blanket, but it's a rug or a bare rug on the ceiling. It helps build comfort and helps you regenerate your health. And then when you do get a, not a tool cupboard, these are workbenches. You can place one here. If you want to pick it up or destroy this, you can place a tool cupboard 2 after you've crafted it. And if you, again, have enough low grade, you can even put another furnace here. And again, we'll go over options for this, but I really want to hammer this home. These are meant to be knocked out after you create additions. And after we do our little rough build over there, next to this one, we'll try to show you those options. Yes, I'm a fan of this. You've seen us on stream, playing official. I love the water. It's a great way to springboard, especially if a server's jumping or you come in a little bit late. Yeep-boo. All right, so the first thing you want to do is, again, pick a location. I like to get roughly, I don't know, between 6 or 10,000 wood, if you can swing it. Sometimes you can go smaller bites and stuff. We'll try to do this on a cheap, air quote, budget. Not that you can see me air quote. You can't. I would say get 5K stone. 3K stone will work. Again, we'll try to do it on the cheap side. If you can secure some metal fragments, by all means. Just know that I'm an admin on this server. This is our own server. These are super stacks. Nothing stacks like this in the official game. As far as I know, these always have to be crafted and they come in single. This is just to kind of help move things along. But just know that your inventory is going to be, these are always 1,000, these stack to 1,000, and wood stacks to 1,000. And these only stack to 100, but we're not even going to use high quality here. So let me be really wasteful and throw these extra pieces out here because we might need the room. Okay, so first thing you want to do is create building plans and a hammer. And again, if you would like to go over the building basics, that's going to help you learn about soft sides, building materials, all that good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and link the building tutorial now in the upper right hand corner. It's this guy right here. Rust Building Beginner's Guide. And don't let the beginners thing fool you. There's a lot of really good stuff there, and I see these mistakes all the time, and it's going to help you avoid those pitfalls, but also help you kind of settle in to the way you would like to build, because Rust is very much about how you want to, I mean, not only like the right thing at the right time, but there's so many different ways to play this game, so it's not going to ruin anything. You still can very much choose how you want to build. Okay, so let's get into the base building. I like to find one of these boats pretty close by, although you do have to keep them semi-clear because there's an invisible hitbox that kind of gets in the way. Right away, before we get started here, I'm going to say craft a tool cupboard that costs 1,000 wood. And hopefully I go slow enough. And I'll try to like call what these different commands are instead of the actual PC commands, because I'm not sure what the console controllers are. So hopefully that helps and it's not terribly confusing. So we're crafting a tool cupboard. We've already crafted a hammer, and also assuming that you have enough supplies, 5k wood, 5k stone roughly. And I would say craft wooden double doors, a wooden single door, and then 3 of these wooden locks. Woo! Okay, so this can be used as a solo or duo or even trio base. A lot of times I start off solo. Okay, so to get the right depth is key. Having flat surface is nice, but you kind of want to slope like this, so it's kind of hard to tell how far to go because you need enough of this depth. Let me show you. So the boat can actually get inside. So I kind of have a rough way to do it, but we'll place a lot of the twig to do so. Here, let me just show you what this looks like real quick. Yeah, see how that has to be just low enough but deep enough for you to enter and exit? All right, so once you have those things crafting, you have your building plans in hand, and walking towards the water or the area you would like to build, walk forward. You hear how like your feet are splashing around. Go until you don't hear that and you're slowing down, which means you're swimming. Let me go ahead and break away the camera so you can see my little feet are kicking. Yes, you won't be able to do this, but those indicators like moving slower, that's how you know you're swimming. So then usually when I'm swimming, I back up just a little bit, a couple steps, and then I like to place my first foundation. If you're looking at this left to right, there's like a big log and then a smaller log that is the surface area. I like to bring the depth up and down until it's like maybe halfway through the bigger log. Does that make sense? And I place it like so. I like to jump up on this and then see if I can place this here. Ideally, we're going to place our tool cupboard here and this square. Let me go ahead and light it up. But I like to etch out just to see if it's high enough some of these other pieces. This is the side settle that's going to be the boathouse. And again, it's important to make sure that your floor clears the water, because if it's touching the water at all, you cannot place things like furnaces or even boxes. So I might be a little close on this one. But anyway, so holding on the building plans, hold secondary fire, whatever that is on console. And then you can select your foundation. And again, you have to have enough wood to do twig. If you've done Ark, it's kind of makes sense. So if you're looking at this, you look down until it snaps. Okay, so that's problematic. So what we're going to do is, if you have a bow and arrow and some arrows, we're going to shoot this out here. Got the arrows because we're cheap. And then maybe this is where it starts? You know what, we'll just start over. So we're going to go to another foundation. And this is why we do twig, because you definitely don't want things to be cemented and then it's like ruined. I'm going to make sure we had enough. Okay, so I'm going to walk into the water, back up a little bit, and maybe we don't go as deep, and it's maybe just licking the bottom of that chunkier support. And then let's go ahead and just try this one here and see if it's blue or not. Please be blue. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. So stepping up here, we're going to go ahead and select secondary fire on the blueprints and select square foundation. And then secondary fire hold again, triangle foundation. Make sure it's sunken triangles, because this will be part of the boat garage. Be careful that it doesn't snap up. And then you need 4 of these. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's good. And we'll come back to that a little bit later. So it's good to kind of do this. Maybe even have a stash over there in the trees. Come out here like real skinny. Skinny is less loot. To kind of feel this out to make sure that the depth and everything is good. So when you're ready to commit your resources to an actual build here and you have your twig up, I would say try to get this down as quickly as possible. I'm going to be explaining a lot here, but you do want to do this kind of in this order and make sure that your area is secure as quickly as possible. Now, holding secondary fire on the blueprints, I'm going to select the wall. I'm going to go back here, again making sure the X is facing you, because that means it's the interior. Again, that build guide I showed you earlier or linked earlier will help describe or it'll help explain it. So you want to see the X's, then you want to see another one here, full wall, and then on this side will be your exit. This is going to be a doorway. Again, secondary fire hold on blueprints. That's so confusing. Doorway, select that. If you do have, and this is tricky, if you do have that wooden door crafted, come down here, go to this doorway, right? Put that, hold up your hammer, hold secondary fire hold, and then select wood upgrade. Then the one you're standing on, select as a stone upgrade. Then go to your wooden door, and then slap it up. We'll go over how to make it swing in a certain direction in a minute. But now you're going to place that wooden lock on the door again. Make sure this is always red. If it is not red, hold the action button and select lock. Do not make a key for the wooden door locks. All it's going to do is make it so somebody can raid your base super easy. We'll go over that here in a minute. So just hit lock, make sure they're always red. And then what you want to do is, since this is your tool cupboard room here, you want to make sure this is stone. So if you have a limited quantity of stone, upgrade these walls first. Make sure this foundation is stone as well. Then go around to these twig and then upgrade this to wood. That's important so you can make an expansion later. Now it's not totally secure, but this should stop people from just running up on you initially and giving you a little bit of breathing space so you can place these other more finer points over here, right? Like I broke out the camera away so you can kind of see what this looks like. And then let me give you a sense of what this is while I take a swig of the old tactical cylinder. Again, if you find this useful and helpful, drop a like. It helps out. Okay. So we're facing the tool cupboard room. I'm going to bring the camera back in. Sorry if I'm going too fast. Now, the key here is to place a foundation. I'm sorry, not a foundation, the tool cupboard. You should already have it crafted, and if you don't, go ahead and queue it up. So the idea here is to place the tool cupboard on the same side as the door. There's a reason for that, so people can't like lean in and see it if somehow the doors stay open. But let me show you how to place this. And again, the reason why we have this locked is to buy us time, because you have to be a bit more precise with this. So with the tool cupboard out, whatever the rotation button is for the console beta, here on the computer it's R. You want to make sure those little doorknobs are facing towards you. That means you can access and place door locks and unlock and lock things, and other people can access it if you give them those codes. It's important to have access to your tool cupboard. You want to make sure the knobs are facing you. Walk up to the concrete, not the wall, but the foundation, and line up the bottom of the tool cupboard with that, and then kind of strafe right. And then back off the wall a little bit, and then make sure your back is pretty good there. So you kind of want to move strafe right and move it to the back, make it snug into the corner as best you can without making it red. You'll get the feel for it. It's a little bit of strafe, a little bit of back. There we go. That's good placement. Now, immediately, this is why you crafted 3 of these, place a wooden lock on the tool cupboard and make sure that you're authorized. If you are not, hold action on the tool cupboard and then select authorize. Since I'm already authorized, my option is no longer authorized, is deauthorized. So if I wasn't, see how it says authorized? Since I own this code lock, I don't need a key for it. Only the owner who placed it has automatic access. That's how the wooden locks work, and that's why we tell people not to make wooden keys, because it gives other people access to your base. Now, let me go ahead and authorize on this. We now own the building and the area around it. You can see building privilege on the right. Again, that tutorial I linked earlier will help you a lot with this. We'll go into more depth. You need to understand it, but make sure this is red. Always, always, always. Do not make a key. Even if you're a duo, trio, dedicate one person to being the base boy or gal, and until you can afford the 100 metal fragments to make a code lock, right here, have somebody be open and close the door, which means you need a sleeping bag in here at some point for that person, and the other people need to be outside and just start to communicate, like I'm coming up on the door, you open it for them and then close it. Just do that initially. It's going to help a lot. Okay, so we're not putting materials in here yet. What we want to do is make sure that our ceiling is sealed off so nobody can jump up or people stack their way in. So real quick, holding back on the blueprints here, holding secondary fire, you're going to select a wall frame. This wall frame is right for your tool cupboard room. Go back to your hammer, hold secondary fire, and then say upgrade to wood for now. Kind of makes it a bit more compact. This will be stone at some point, but again, you're working on a budget. So since we are working on a budget, we need to lock off this tool cupboard still. Going back to your building plans, holding secondary fire, selecting floor or ceiling. Place the twig, go back to your hammer, and since this is our inner core, you want to make sure this is stone if you can afford it. If you can't, make it wood, but as soon as you can, upgrade your tool cupboard room to stone as quickly as possible, because you are open to flame and yoka raids. Yokas and handmade shells are default blueprints, and people will do it to you, I promise. That's just how this game works. Now, over here, make this wood on purpose, And what we're going to do is create a fancy shelf inside of here to help us stack some more materials. But before we do that, our wooden double door should be done crafting. I'm going to place it over here. And now here's how you place the way doors swing. And there is a very specific reason why we have this. So when it's blue, if you look right or left, you see how it's changing to swing towards me. If I move left, whoops, if I move left, it's swinging inwards. This one, because it's going to open against this wall here, this guy, that's blue, we want it to swing out to partially cover this door because it's going to help keep people from rushing into or going deep on you. So make sure that the door is swinging towards you and then place it and then hit a lock, and always make sure this is what? Red. A lot of times when you place it, it turns green, or even if somebody types in a code they don't mean to, but it turns green, and it can become a problem. So make sure you're holding action button and lock it. Do not make a key. It's bad. All right, so when you open this, it should partially obstruct this doorway, and this creates a no pass-through. So you essentially, to leave this area, you have to close the loot room for your tool cupboard on purpose to leave. So it's kind of a, you know, it's a good thing. All right, so take some of your supplies here. Again, you won't have super stacks like this. This is just future-proofing this if I can, just so my tool cupboard catches up. All right. Closing this door. We're going to go outside and place some scaffolding twig to help us make a shelf inside of here. So we're going to close this because you have to leave. We're going to go back outside. I'm kind of glad we misplaced those foundations right there because that can really become a problem. Okay, with your building plans out and hopefully most of your materials in the base, so if you get shot from behind, because this is when it's going to happen, select a, I was going to say wooden foundation, but a square foundation back here by your tool cupboard. You're going to place it right there, and then as soon as you can jump up, now hold the secondary fire button on, and then select the half wall, place it here. Jump up on the half wall if you need to, because we're kind of in deep water. Again, holding secondary action, selecting the floor, jumping and placing. See how it's blue? I'm placing the floor ceiling tile right there. And what this does is halfway up the wall, it creates like a socket for something on the other side to attach to. We'll show you. And we're going to do a triangle. Make it a shelf. Again, secondary hold. Now we have that triangle. See, I'm going to crouch so you can see it. And if you place this back in the corner far enough, this now places. What I like to do, and again, if you're rich enough, you can make that stone, but usually stone's better used somewhere else in your early stages. Make that wood for now. The reason why this tool cupboard is hugging this wall here, I'm going to go ahead and detach the camera again, so hopefully it's not disorienting. But if you look at this, if somebody were to break in or this door were open, you don't want them to be able to see and or shoot the tool cupboard. If it's on this wall like this, somebody from the outside is not going to be able to see it, shoot it, or reach it. So that's the basic idea. Yeah, so let me reattach the camera. Now, let's see. We are going to craft some of these smaller boxes, which cost, I want to say they're 150, but I'm going to have to check. Oh, they're just 100. So you're going to craft a couple of these so you can dump some of your valuables. Let's say it's a bow and whatever low grade you do have, because remember, low grade crafts your first furnace, and furnaces make what? Fragments. And what makes doors, code locks, bigger boxes? Fragments. And you need to make yourself a metal door as soon as possible. Now, you're going to want to save up this low grade because the cost 50 is pretty steep. But as soon as you can, at one of the monuments, again, I can link a monument video now in the upper right-hand corner, something like the mining outpost. Go check that out. It's a good place to recycle things, and you can get those metal fragments just from recycling certain components. On our map, our mining outpost is, where are you? There we go. Places like there or many other monuments have recyclers, so you can end up with some of these metal fragments. So let's say that you do have some metal fragments. It's kind of out of order, but this will work. So we're going to take this off here. Unlock, hold action, then remove. Open door, hold action, remove. Now, if you do have a double door, which again is expensive, but there's a reason why you want to make a double door here, and I'll show you. Hopefully this makes sense. I just want to show you the cost. It's 200 metal fragments. That's pretty steep. If you can't afford it, make the single door, which isn't as good because remember, if your metal door is sitting here, that can't be flame rated, but everything else around it can be. And you want to keep this wood so you can make the idea or make the expansion later. Because remember, things are very permanent in this game after they pass the cementing phase. So you can't really make changes past that. You have to raid your own base, more or less. So if you don't have that kind of money, and that's steep, but it's only 50 off of a single door here. So that's 150 metal fragments. But if you can't afford it, focus on this furnace first. And I'm telling you, the bottleneck is going to be the low grade. Build one first, and then start smelting the raw ore. So let me just peel one off here. Let's say we crafted one. This little triangle enables you to place this back in the corner like so. So once you do have enough money to make a double door, let's say you crafted one. It's right there. Bam. And then you were rich enough to also craft a shifty shift, a code lock as well. Before you do that, you're going to want to go up here to your frame because you're only as good as the walls supporting it. You're going to hold, with your hammer out, you're going to hold secondary action, then upgrade to stone. Then you're going to select that metal door and then have it swing outward. And then hopefully you have enough metal fragments. You can place a code lock here, hold action, whatever your team's code is. Now people can actually type in the codes. So let me just go over this real quick. If you hold action and you're typing in codes, same rule applies. Green is bad for you. Always check to make sure your door locks are red. Same thing here. If it's green and you already have it typed in, you don't have to type it in again. Thank goodness. But hold action and just make sure that you lock it. Red is good. Make sure that's always, always, always red. So the reason why we're picking this when we can afford it to swing outward is if you look inside of here, stone, 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 and also stone. Frame is stone, and this is metal. So you want to put all of your valuables inside of this square. If you can't afford anything else, put your storage in here. And let's say you have to sign out, like you got to make a sandwich, you got to, you got work tomorrow, whatever. Put your valuables inside of here. Because people will come through this door, they'll come through the ceiling. But if you have less valuable things here and your best valuables in here, that will stop any early game raids for the most part, unless you really tick somebody off. So let me go ahead and show you. Let's say you have some more metal fragments and you're lucky enough to have some of these big boy boxes. Again, rotate button, whatever that may be. Kind of squeeze it in the corner. And a lot of times you'll be rearranging these in the future, but this is a good lesson right here. Let's say we have another box we want to place on this shelf. A lot of times with these double doors, you'll have to unlock, remove, open, remove to place this other box. So what I like to do is jump up here. And then I have the box, rotate it so the lock is outward. Although you don't really lock these, but there's like a little latch. Set it in the back and you're good. Now, you always want to make sure you place the door back on. Again, outward towards the single door. The lock on, green is bad. Make sure it's not green. So now you've got your inner core that's actually protected. Now, having little boxes in here is very common. You want to make sure you can always reach the tool cupboard from here, whether you have to jump up here and do it. Make sure you can always access the boxes in the back. That's really important. You can squeeze quite a bit in here. Come on, there you go. And then we can probably squeeze one up here and then still access that top box. Just trying to give you a good example. Maybe not. Okay, well, let's do the boathouse section. Actually, no, let's tear down our scaffolding out here. And I don't know if cementing phase is over. So if you hold the hammer and the cementing phase isn't over, you will have the option, and again, hold secondary fire, you will have the option to demolish. If it's not there, thankfully twig is super, super soft. So you can do a bow and arrow and then shoot it. We're just trying to get to it quick so we can demolish it. Because this creates scaffolding for people to climb up on and just raid your base. The sun is just looming in the sky. Let's see if we can't, real quick, make it. Again, I'm an admin, so I can do this. Beep, boop. This should help. Sorry. Okay, so what we're going to do now is add the boathouse section on the side. Hopefully your boat's still there, your characters are still alive, your teammates are helping. We have 4 of these triangles. Let me break away, because looking in the water is a little disorienting. 4 of these triangles, and again, it'll be hard because you're kind of semi-swimming there. You want to have 4 of those triangles. And let me go ahead and show you what the frame looks like. This is the wall frame here. This would be the entrance for the boathouse. And then you're going to place a wall. Again, X is on the inside. And then this little triangle here. Again, secondary hold. You want your foundation to go here, but then raise it up so it's the same level as the door. And then back up. Let me go ahead and back the camera up so you can see this. Hopefully it's not too crazy. Whoops, whoops. I take another swig of the tactical cylinder. Let's give you a kind of a layout here. Woo! Okay. Under the assumption that you're also pretty skimpy on materials, a boathouse needs to be 1.5 walls if you're going to store a boat inside. You really need to do the construction while the boat is on the outside because of that invisible bound box. So we're creating half walls here. And again, if you can't climb up on that wall, sometimes just creating a half wall here as a step up, and then you can jump up on these edges. Like so. And I'm going to do exactly that. Actually, we'll leave it open for now. What I like to do, because I'm extra cheap with materials, since this triangle, can I see it? Kind of, yes, is sitting on the outside, I will upgrade it to stone. But since this one's on the inside, I will upgrade this to wood. Since this flat side is sharing this wall, I'm going to make that stone. And then this can be wood. Now, if I were to make this wood, and you can, sometimes there's enough gap that people can get under there, or at least see what you're doing. So when you can afford it, you can make it stone. But even if you plan on making changes, then leave things that you're unsure about as wood, and just don't store things that are very valuable there. That's my suggestion. So, and again, a lot of times you're going to expand these little boathouse sections. So it's good initially to make these wood and sort it out. Because let's be honest, even if somebody breaks one of these wooden walls, they have to make a clean break to like move a boat out. And most people aren't just going to raid you for one boat. Most, you know what I mean? Most. So we're going to climb up here and then upgrade this to wood. Whoopsie. And then this to wood. Whoopsie. Again, giving you a lot more options for later. And I'm going to hold action here and then demolish because we're still in that cementing phase. Okay, back to the blueprints. We're going to select a floor triangle. Probably shouldn't have knocked away that jump up. Now we have a rooftop. Technically, we can park a boat in here. And yeah, I think we can. All right, so let's grab a boat. Again, you need low grade for this bad boy. Any of these damaged already? Oh, this one's almost toast. Give a little repair. Again, metal fragments and wood if you've got the money. And pushing it will reduce your water and food. I think mostly food. If you look in the low right-hand corner, every time I push it from the ground, I lose food. So be aware of that. When it's deep enough, you should see the option to mount it. I'm just hitting action on the back. There we go. Mount. And then when you have low grade, look at the fuel. But again, whatever that is on console, drag the low grade over. In this case, that's a super stack. And you most definitely won't have 500 initially, but you get the idea. Start it. And now I'm driving around to the entrance. So you want to do this to secure it so nobody else steals it. And then once you're inside, it's cut off the engine. Jump up. Now, if you have another wooden door, I would suggest a wooden door if you... There's other things you can upgrade. Have it swing outward. Have another wooden lock ready. And then slap it on there again. It needs to be what color? Red. Hold action. And you're good. Okay, so the boat is yours now. If you're having a hard time jumping up here, you can mount and then jump. It's like a way to stick onto the boat. And if the boat's in the way while you're building, you can push it on from firm ground, or you can drive it back out again. Did we take out the gas? Just know the gas is in there. Okay, so what you want to do now, again, I like to keep this wood, because assuming that these inner core pieces, well, actually, you do have an inner core piece that's solid metal and stone, so you're good. And again, we'll go over some of those options. I don't want to make this terribly long. I already feel like that it is. But if you want to make that single pass airlock, which is really important, and it does two things. It creates a single pass airlock, but it creates two ways to exit. I really, really like that. Again, the X is facing you. Like that wood, and wood again. And I like to start small, so just one wooden door will do you. And then as you get more, you start to place them. So with this first door, I'm going to have it swing inward. So looking to the left makes it swing in. We'll place one of these guys here. Oh, you know what? Let's say we're rich enough that we've got one of these. We've got a code lock. Right? This means your teammates can go in. So that's nice. Again, as you get more of these pieces, I would keep these wood or slide these. If you somehow upgrade this door, you can use this door up in this little airlock. You can move around metal doors as you see fit, or you can recycle them, depending. All right, so this door is going to swing inwards. And we're just, for argument's sake, going to put up one of these code locks. If you're a solo player, you don't have to make code locks at all. It's going to save you metal. So don't. So with all of these in place, again, the door swinging inward, you've got that single pass-through and 2 places to exit. It's not perfect, but it's definitely better than just a single door that opens into your base. And since I'm super cheap, I usually do this one last too. The triangle above your head, making that wood. And this should give you your initial starter for a Rust Beta boathouse. Take a little look here. Now, you're asking yourself, why did I leave this all wood? That's craziness. It is. But also, it's not. So let's say you got enough materials. Let's say you're a bit further into the wipe. Let's say your base looks like this, like the other one. So I'm going to be wasteful and throw things on the ground. Let's say you have your first workbench in here. You're rich enough to have one of these bad boys. Another one of these bad boys here. Again, I like to keep these away from this frame so we can make this a garage door whenever we have one. But also, leaving enough room for you to jump up on this lip. Because jumping from water onto a lip can be a bit difficult. So it just gives you some room to work. Let's go ahead and place one of these guys here. Man, we're really doing well, huh? Should fit. Did I not make that snug enough? Okay, I'm going to do this. You can pick these back up with a hammer, by the way, if you hold action. Should be an option for it, but it does lose durability. I say that because sometimes you there's just enough of a overhang that it stops you from walking through the door. You definitely want to be able to walk through doors. And we should be able to place this here, I think. Oh, perfect. Okay. Whew. Okay, so when you do have the option, oh, you know what? Let's go ahead and make these wood too. We just left it twig. But hey, the twig will stop the decay on the boat. Just know that. All right, before we do this, I'm a little out of order here. I can't reach the top, and I'm assuming you don't have any blueprints for anything. So create a triangle foundation and a half wall, and then use the half wall to jump up on and then jump to the roof, and just make these wood. Because you might add an extra boathouse or add more to your base here, you want to leave this wood. Because this difference between you, I'm going to go ahead and go in admin mode so I can float around. Sometimes if you need a raised foundation next to this wall, you can't do it. Like right here. Technically I can place it, but I can't because there's a wall here. But if I delete the wall, now you see why. Now you can place the foundation. Now you see why having the option to wreck the wall with a metal hatchet when you can afford it makes all the difference. Again, attacking the wooden wall from the soft side, like so. We'll get a bar here in a sec. Where is it at? There it is. See how it's going down? Makes it much easier to get rid of walls like that, and this should be enough to keep back the wolves. That's why these are wood for the boathouse section. But once you, at this point, you'll have a good idea of how you want to expand your base and what you want to do. So these sections are wood on purpose. Oh, by the way, always take down your scaffolding. Hold the action button with the hammer. Action button, demolish. As long as it's past cementing phase, and if you can't, you can always shoot it with bow and arrows because it's only twig. All right, so for whatever reason, let's say you wanted to make an expansion here and jumping up here and another one here. So we're going to make this rich people stuff and make it all stone. We're going to place a wall here and here. I'm going fast so you can see the options. Again, I don't want to make this too terribly long. Making that stone. Placing whatever back here in the corner. Maybe it's more boxes, maybe it's shelving, whatever you want to do with it. Again, before you close this off, I already painted myself in the corner. create that half wall again to jump out. There we go. So you've got your ceiling tile. Hopefully this isn't terribly confusing. I fear it might be. Then what you want to do is go down here, and then on the inside of your room, you can metal hatchet your way into this new room. Let me show you. So another reason why is because roof access, secondary doors are really important in this game, and sometimes the place you plan to have your roof access doesn't work out and you have to change it on the fly. So leaving these wood like this will help you, will open up the options for you. So I like to build these little compartments first when I can. Obviously not building yourself in the corner like I did initially, but then you can hatchet the wall out with ease. Once you know what you want, you can then start to cement or solidify these changes, you know, and then let's say this door, say we're really rolling in the money. We've got a metal door here now. Is that boat blocking me? It sure is. Let's push it. There we go. Now we put a code lock on there. Woo, big living. Just want to show you some of the options for jumping up, and then we'll probably wrap this one up because this is fairly long. Let's say you wanted to make a jump up over here for some reason. Just because. You put another furnace down here for the jump up. Wall, just giving you an example. You can already start to see how, you know, those extra options can really help you shape the base as it's needed. Key and operative word here, as it's needed. See, look at that. So our extra exit and wooden walls has now turned into a jump up and an extra little furnace. And you would probably want to make this stone as well. And then your roof tile. So remember, wood's not strong, especially if you sign out. People are going to raid you. Look at that. We've got roof access. I like building next to the water, not only for the resources, but like, listen, if someone's up on your door, you'll hear them splashing around like crazy. And then look, not only do you have roof access, you've got the ability to create a whole secondary floor. A little crouch jump right here. I know I can do it. I believe in me. Then upgrade the pieces as you see fit. So this is the Rust Console Edition Boathouse, or even the Rust Console Beta Boathouse. And this is designed to give you a foothold on your start on any wipe, whether you're a new player, advanced player, or in between. This should help you give you the options, enough shelter to steal a boat, keep a boat, and then expand as you see fit, whether you're solo, duo, trio, or more. If you found this useful and helpful, be sure to drop a like. And we'll have many more of these in the future. So, yeah, let us know what you think. Some ideas, some tweaks that you did down in the comments below. Love hearing what people are doing. Obviously, if this is still NDA, you can't talk about the beta, but they'll lift that soon enough, whether it's they open it up or it's full release. So, hopefully, we see you guys in the next video / live stream. Love you. Bye! I can't jump up there, can I? Aye!